because I have had significant others up until now that have paid for me. It's
But
not.
why do you think they have to pay?
Usually they're much older and they feel weird making someone younger pay for them. But it's not that I don't pay. I do pay in other aspects. Like I.
Other aspects.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We're talking about as in
I
about
pay them in
dates.
other ways. Hi guys, welcome back to This Is Not a Podcast. How many of you watched Adolescence? On
I haven't
Netflix?
watched it yet.
I just finished it.
I thought you watched it.
No, I haven't watched Adolescence yet.
She's too busy. Guys, Mana's here.
Oh my god.
Is too busy watching Emperor. She's going to be watching it 3 times in the next 24 hours.
I'm watching it 2 times in the next 24 hours.
That's
2 times more
more,
than
yeah.
required.
Yeah. More than necessary.
I think all the Mohanlal fans will stand by me on me watching it twice.
Yeah, they should be standing by you.
You'll need that support.
Okay, Adolescence. What do you guys think about the show? I mean, okay, let's just set context for Manas.
Yeah.
British family, kids. I think the 4 people in the family: dad, mom, daughter is probably like 16, 17, and the son is like I think 12, 11,
13.
12. Yeah, 12, 13. He gets arrested one day by cops, and they
Like randomly.
they
Okay.
smash into the house, arrest him, and it's like they create a whole ruckus.
Okay.
The family is in turmoil, and then they find out that he actually committed a murder. He killed his classmate. Why are you laughing at this?
No, continue.
Yeah, he killed his classmate, and they basically met on they used to chat online, and we find out later in the episode that he was being bullied by this girl,
Oh, okay.
and just how schools are, and
Got it. So was it like a reaction to the bullying, the killing her thing?
in some sort of a yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so basically he's accused of committing
Yeah.
murder. And like Shahan said, right, eventually as the show unfolds, you realize that he was subject to bullying by this girl. And that sort of got to him eventually.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of, it's an impact of the whole Andrew Tate.
Yeah. That I've heard a lot on social
yeah.
media and people's comments and
Yeah,
stuff.
so there's something called the manosphere. I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
but
What is a man?
I saw that as well. What does that mean?
so I think it's the whole men should be men.
Oh,
Men
got it.
used to go to war, sort of a situation.
Okay. Understand.
So I think that's what it is, and basically he is targeted by his classmates, and they keep calling him an incel. And so he was just subject to brutal bullying, and
Bullying.
at that age
Yeah.
it sort of does get to you.
Yeah.
Again, the show sort of ends on a note where he is sort of charged with murder, and
Yeah.
he sort of pleads guilty.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of questions about whether it's justified, or whether he should be subject to this degree,
Got it.
because of all the
Yeah.
background,
Okay.
right, eventually that
Yeah.
they sort of unfold. I don't know, it was just it was a very uneasy watch. Did you
Why are you sitting in silence?
Uh,
It's a podcast. Speak.
yeah, I know. I was just thinking. Do you think it's justified, the fact that he killed her? Is it justified?
no,
because
obviously
he was-
not. I don't think it's justified.
What about you, Leah?
I don't understand in any world where murder is ever justifiable.
Okay. But
yeah.
what do you think the necessary reaction should have been then? Because as a 13-year-old, you're being bullied.
Wait,
every
was
day.
it due to the bullying? I thought he asked her out and she rejected or something.
That's another story
there are,
I've been
no, so
hearing.
there are multiple reasons that they sort of get to, right? One is the whole Andrew Tateism,
Yeah.
behavior that you're supposed to sort of have as a man.
Yeah.
The second thing is this 80-20 thing, where 80% of women like only 20% of men.
Yeah.
Right? Only attracted to these 20%. And this guy didn't fall in those 20%. So he, again, as the show unfolds, you
Yeah.
realize what his thoughts are, right? He thinks of himself as ugly, as not desirable. Personally, to me, in any scenario, you can't justify murder. you could, like,
Yeah.
it's just not justified.
don't
Like, the
think-
right to life is like something that is
Okay,
not.
that this is tangenting, but like, what about some serial killer like Ted Bundy, who's put on death row?
That's the thing, right? Again, you're talking about capital punishment. Like, there are different schools of thought on capital punishment itself. I am against capital punishment because I don't think it's justified to take someone's life, because it's not in your hands. It's not something that has been implicitly given to you, which is why a lot of countries now have sort of veered away from capital punishment. But there are countries that still sort of adhere to it. Like the Middle East, you have like a lot of countries that still hand out, capital punishment. So
But what
it's
would-
different schools
according
of
to
thought.
you, what would an alternate punishment be for like a grave crime like that?
So that's the thing, right? Like, even when you study jurisprudence, there are different schools of thought on even punishment and like jail and stuff, right? So there are crimes which are not as heinous,
Yeah.
like robbery and stuff, where there is a chance to sort of have the psyche of the criminal changed. So it's called reformative punishment, right? So unfortunately, in a country like India where the systems are so bad, like you go to prison and you just can't be in an environment where you sort of have the ability to change your school of thought, right?
Right,
Because
right,
it's
right.
such a gruesome like
No, 100%.
structure.
Yeah.
Like the facilities are like just insane, okay? And the jails are overcrowded. There's no space.
Yeah.
The conditions of inmates is horrible. Like it's horrifying. Like, and there's like a lot of issues, right? Like we have so much poverty. People think it's easier for them to be jailed and like get food and shelter
Yeah.
than to actually earn.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of issues when it comes to India.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, there are different classes of crimes that
Yeah.
deserve different classes of punishment.
Right.
Like capital punishment is given to like the gravest of
Yeah,
gravest.
but no, her question is what would your
What would,
alternative be?
what would
because-
an
No,
alternate?
that's what I'm saying. There is no
Yeah, so
like
someone
set.
who
According to you, what would the like? Would you jail them
No,
forever?
like, when
what-
I'm
Yeah, I
asking
mean
you-
there is life in life imprisonment, right?
Imprisonment,
Like you're
but-
jailed till
no life
you die.
imprisonment is supposedly only 13 years, so you can
no. I mean it's not like that. It compounds. Like it depends on
you
the.
can get like life imprisonment twice or something, but supposedly it's not for the rest of your life.
No, so it depends on the. Again, it depends on the crime,
Right,
but
right.
it's like they say life imprisonment could be 20 years, for instance,
Right.
right? For some crimes, but you add so many different charges to it that it keeps adding up.
Right.
And different countries have different sort of ways to impose this punishment. But I don't think death penalty is
Is-
like the answer to
okay.
these things. Like in this case, in the Adolescence case, for instance, because he's a juvenile, they will have hope for him to sort of reform
Yeah.
his, because he was also a victim of bullying, right?
Yeah,
Like there's a
yeah.
lot of psychological trauma that he himself has been through. So there will be like series of counseling that he goes through.
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually, because he's such a young child, he's only 13, they will let him out.
Yeah.
The issue is also once you're let out, and you'll see this in the show as well, the societal ideology of a prisoner,
Yeah.
a person
exactly.
who's
That
been
was- yeah,
to
that was
jail,
gonna be my
whether
next question.
acquitted or convicted, is that he's been to jail.
Yeah, he's been to jail. It doesn't matter if he's reformed. There's no like certification or proof of him is
Yeah.
change. It's just a kind of notion that you are a certain way if you went to prison, regardless of the crime.
Yeah, that's
you
what,
know?
even if you're acquitted,
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
doesn't matter.
people don't understand the difference between an allegation and a
Yeah.
conviction.
And I feel like that's something that's intrinsically in everyone, you
Yeah.
know, like
The
because you
judgment.
see a person as a criminal after they have a crime committed. Like you can't see them as anything else,
Yeah.
which is actually really messed up in hindsight.
Yeah, it's like a
but, you know.
permanent stamp on
Yeah.
you. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think capital punishment is the way to go. You have to see like different, like there are so many nuances to it that it's not easy to give one right answer.
Yeah.
But I'm against capital punishment.
Got it.
So you think that, say, supposedly a man who's murdered 50 women, raped them, you think it's better to keep them in
Should we
jail
give a
where?
trigger warning for that?
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Uh,
She asked if we should give a trigger warning for that.
okay.
Okay, but you giving government funding to feed these criminals 3 times a day, where like if you go to public schools, we don't even get like food. So like I don't understand why we're funding jails when these people should.
No, I mean I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think us not getting food in school is the same problem as us feeding inmates, right? They're two different things. One should not happen at the cost of the other, in my opinion. Like both should happen simultaneously. It's just obviously every country is like laden with corruption. There's so much red tape.
Yeah.
Like people who actually need to see the benefit of us paying taxes don't end up seeing them.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think one exists without the other. Like it has to happen simultaneously. But I get where you're coming from. I get the anger. I'm also a woman at the end of the day. I just don't think it is our right to be able to take someone's life away, right? And it's honestly, in my opinion, it's the easy way out.
But in
Handing
that
out,
specific circumstance that Leah said, could you think of another alternative punishment? Like, is there something that as a lawyer you can understand to be
So that's what I'm saying, right?
justified?
Like when you actually study and you dig in deep into the psychology of why people commit crimes, there are so many different reasons. Like when you talk about rape, right?
Yeah.
The way rape began was, this is all studies, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not making it up.
Yeah.
But basically, it was because women were considered property of men in the family,
Yeah.
right? Either your father or your brother or your husband once
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
married. So to attack the man, they would rape the woman,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That theory then changed into medicalizing rape, which means the person who's committing the crime has a medical psychological issue.
Mm.
So now you can't really question, oh, now he's, because mentally like unstable people have a protection under the law, right? Because they aren't in their senses when they're committing crimes.
Yeah.
So then, like that, the theory of rape has changed throughout,
Yeah.
right? So each criminal has a different psychological makeup.
Right.
So you can't tell, right? Like it could be like in this case, for instance, if you're saying bullying is protection under the law and he should not be charged as a criminal normally, then you have to look at every case in isolation as well, right?
Right. Right.
So a person who's committed mass murder as a serial killer and has committed like sexual assault on multiple women, obviously like the easy way to go about it is to say, yeah, just hang him. But again, there's a lot that goes behind it. Like you
Yeah.
can't just keep handing out death penalty.
As
It's just
like,
it's not as easy as it seems. Like there are layers to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not condoning what he's done, obviously.
yeah, no. obviously.
But it's
Yeah.
just like, again, there are different schools of thought on different kinds of crimes and different kinds of punishments being handed out. I just personally don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah. But as like three of you that have watched the show, what are your thoughts on like a child going into like juvie or like being in like a, I would say like a kind of setting like it is there, like for someone that's growing up and still like adapting to the world. Like if you're shut off from the world into that for a firm, like what do you think for like for instance in adolescence, like that sort of a punishment for a child?
I don't necessarily think being in detention is a bad thing. It gives you time to sort of rethink your actions as well, right? Because it's not normal to have committed a crime and then just be roaming around freely,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like there has to be some consequence, and you need to understand that your actions have consequences. Ideally, a juvenile detention should be something where the environment is conducive to the child understanding
Yeah.
what they've done, developing in a manner where they understand what they've done is wrong,
Yeah.
right? But again, as I said, like India is like, it's just crazy. Like we don't have the resources to have these developments.
Yeah.
There's no reformation at all. In fact, what we see is a lot of recidivism, which is basically the possibility of a person who's committed a crime once to commit it again,
Got it.
right? Because you don't see consequences to your actions here as much,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like people can be, like for instance, we had, I don't know if y'all remember, there was this car accident case where this son of a very big builder in Pune
Oh
had
yeah.
run
the
over.
posh
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
He had to write an apology
He had
letter,
to write an apology letter. That was so messed up.
right? And there's nothing that's happened in that case.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's absolutely nothing. Like, and people don't know because our memories are so short, right? People have no idea what's happening. They don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
But if that's the like if that's
The
the,
bar, right?
situation
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
the bar, like there's only so much you can also like.
That's true. Damn.
No, I feel like when I watched the show, maybe the British system is like that, but like they were very sweet to the kid, even though
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
of whatever murder he committed.
Yeah. Like they were
I feel
treating him like
they were
human
treating him
at the
really
end of the
well,
day.
and like
no,
they
but
had
that's
a
because in the show, like he wasn't charged as of yet. He was going on
No,
trial.
they charged him. They charged
As in,
him.
yeah, he was charged, but
Yeah.
he wasn't like the what the sentence wasn't given.
Convicted.
Yeah.
No,
was
but
like-
that's the case, right? Like so the law says when it's like a crime such as murder, rape, etc., you're going to be in jail. There's no bail for these crimes, right? So you're going to be in jail while the trial is on as well.
Yeah.
So that's the case in India also. It's just that we don't treat humans as humans
Yeah. That's
once
exactly
you're inside prison.
what
Like it's
my point was. Even in like children being acquitted, I
Yeah.
mean not acquitted. What is the other word for it?
convicted.
Convicted. So when children are convicted, like my point was that at the end of the day, like whether they're inside or outside or released of the crime or anything, like you're not seeing them as human at the end of the day, even inside the jail or inside the rehab they're in or wherever. So like my question was like the impact of that on a child. So
No, I mean
that
it's
was the
grave,
point. Yeah.
obviously, but again, that's the thing, right? It's like there's no right answer. You've committed a crime, you're going to have to see the consequences to
Yeah,
that
yeah.
crime, right? So even when you come out in society, while it is our duty as humans to give someone a second chance once they have reformed,
Yeah.
implicitly you're also wary, right? Like, for instance, tomorrow your parents may not be okay with you getting married to someone who's been imprisoned,
Yeah.
right? Because in their mind, you just want to be careful.
Yeah.
Right, the possibility of someone who's a criminal already and
Yeah,
who's been
yeah.
convicted of a crime, the possibility of them committing another crime is just higher.
Yeah. And
Right.
also, I feel like in the same way, when you reverse it, like no parent out there is thinking, what if the person you get married to could be a criminal? You
Yeah.
know, like, because you
Yeah.
never know how people are. So I just feel like it's so like it could be anything. And like a person that just went to jail could have been a completely reformed person.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
then a person that's literally just walking down the street could be someone that is capable of killing someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you on how it is very subjective to the crime
Yeah.
and
yeah.
the person.
Okay, but like before we get to jail, like what do you think the effect of technology was on that kid? Like this is a kid who was on Instagram resharing like models' photos. I'm assuming they get phones when they're like 9, 10 stuff, and they're on social media. The people chatting on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever, Snapchat. Do you think that has like a adverse effect on
Yeah,
kids who are that
100%.
young?
Oh my
Like-
god, yeah.
Again, I think in one of the interviews where Ted Bundy was speaking, he said that from an early age he was addicted to porn, and that messed with the psyche of his, like, genuinely altered the way he thought, because the access to porn and the way that it leads to different thoughts, because you know porn isn't what it is in real life, obviously. So like having access to such, I don't know how to explain it, but like that's what I don't want to phrase it in a way that
No, that's fair.
underplays the like effects
Yeah,
of the
which is
porn.
why I was.
Yeah, because
Yeah, you were taking your time. You were like careful with each word.
But then, yeah, I'll get to this.
No, but I'll tell you, like, simply put, I feel like technology should not be given.
Yeah,
At-
what is the right age?
Yeah, at
Also,
such a
and-
young
Yeah, and
age
also
to
it's
have.
also like we can't also define everything to a gender where it's only men
Yeah.
or it's a female thing either. So
That's a
what-
whole
Yeah.
different
Different,
thing.
No, no, guys,
obviously.
I have a very
No, no,
specific question.
I'll
This
tell
one
you.
is very specific.
Yeah, I
answer.
know.
Yeah.
I got the
I'll tell you.
question.
Yeah.
In my opinion, again, I think at such a young age to have access to technology without any sort of parental guidance is wrong. Like, even in that scenario, speaking specifically of the show, the fact that you have 13-year-olds bullying their classmates in such a like degree could be prevented if there was more parental guidance, right? You're still, why do we have an age for being called an adult? Because your brain has not been formed up until that age, right? There's a reason why the like parents are considered your guardians, and you're a minor because you can't take these decisions because your brain has not been completely formed,
Yeah.
right? And they say that scientifically a man's brain takes more time to be fully mature than a woman's, right? Now, science is not wrong in my opinion. When you have all of this in place, you giving access to your child to the internet where there are such dark things, obviously there are going to be consequences again,
Yeah.
right? So to me, a major role has to be played by the parents in the upbringing of a child.
Okay, so when do you give tech to them? Like when? Like
No, you
all
give
your
them
classmates,
tech.
all your classmates have phones and like.
That
they're-
doesn't make it okay. Like
Okay, I'm asking you for a solution. I'm not saying.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You give them tech, but you give it to them in a manner where there is control over how they're using that tech, right? Tech is a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong, but everything can be misused also.
Okay, but what sort of control are you talking about as a parent?
You're talking about like
Maybe hours in a day.
hours
But
in a
like
day.
hours in a day,
Monitoring what
you
they
can
see.
you can get
Monitoring.
1 hour and fuck everything up.
No,
also.
but monitoring.
No, but
what they're,
monitoring,
doing
like,
when
what
you're
Okay,
you're
like
doing,
have
right?
access to their.
Yeah, 100%. When you're
Have
young, you
access,
can totally
yeah.
do that. There's like,
No, and also like I'm sorry, but I wouldn't personally want my child to be on social media at such a young age. When and I genuinely think like the generation
don't
Sharan
you
and I grew up in,
doesn't that lead to your child being outcasted when everyone else
clearly
in
he
the,
was still an outcast even though he had
yeah,
Instagram.
that's
So
true, but then yeah, I feel like social media is not what we think it is anymore. It's not like, so in the therapist in the show, she was like, why did you post if you didn't have friends or if you weren't that popular? I feel like social media is so, like, the conception of social media is so different from what our parents have to us. For us, it's not like something where we need to showcase what we do anymore. I feel like it's just a way to get news and a lot of different, like, keep up in life. So
yeah.
like the older generation, they think it's that us showing other people or our surroundings what we're doing, but I feel like that's not really what it is.
I mean that's debatable in my opinion because a lot of people still have.
It's both.
Why does
Yeah,
FOMO
it's kind
exist, right? Like why does
all
FOMO
of it at once.
Yeah,
I
like
think.
for instance, I'll tell you, like, because it's more relatable for Sharon and me because social media was so new when we were growing up, right? I remember I was 15 or 16 when I had my Facebook account created. The reason I had it created because as a child I used to move cities quite a bit. The easiest way to stay in touch was to have social
100%,
media,
yeah.
email. We used to have MSN chat, Yahoo chat, all of that, right? Prior to that, like I didn't even have access to email till I was like 13, 14. Prior to that, I used to write letters to my friends who were in different cities, like legit write
Yeah,
letters,
yeah.
right? Social media, actually, the reason why social media was the big thing for us was to keep in touch with people, not to show off or not to like,
Yeah, yeah.
sort of be used in a manner that is being used currently. I agree with you right now. It's more about being in like being in the know, gaining knowledge. There's a lot of great content there. There's a lot of information. Like YouTube is massive, right? I remember studying off of YouTube and that helped me so much more than studying in school.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with absolute freedom on the internet, you're going to misuse it.
Yeah.
And unless you have, when you're a child, unless you have someone monitoring your movement, monitoring your actions,
Yeah.
it's just not a safe space. Like, and not just you committing a crime, but people can sort of even come at you, right? Like, you don't know what's happening. Like, I remember there was a case somewhere in North India where this kid was playing a game, again, without any parental like monitoring or anything, and he's like spent the entire life savings of their of the family because he
Yeah.
kept buying
Oh yeah, I saw
different
this.
like
Yeah.
stuff, right? So it's just it's such a weird space.
Yeah.
And when you're so young, you can't tell right from wrong.
No, yeah.
So it's a lot to do with parenting, I feel.
But so the parents of the show, like, towards the last episode, you do feel like really bad for them.
Yeah.
And did you think they were bad parents?
I don't think the boy's parents were bad, but like, for instance, when he was being bullied by all of his classmates, something should have been told to the other guys also, right? Like,
As
like
in-
do you remember that scene where the father gets triggered in that shop where he goes to get paint for his van? So basically there's a scene where his van has been vandalized by kids and they sort of use spray paint to
this
write
is post after.
yeah,
yeah.
after the child
Yeah.
has been held in custody and is charged. So his van has been vandalized by these kids because they're obviously now like trying to like sort of attack the family as well, right? Like your child is like a criminal.
Yeah,
So they write this word called nonce. I don't know what it means. So the family, and it's the father's birthday, so they go to like this hardware paint shop to sort of get something to get rid of that spray paint, and basically he gets really triggered over there because he's constantly being told things about his son, and he eventually sees the kids who vandalized the van and he goes and he's like really fuming mad and he's like, you know what, I've been through a lot of shit, this is not funny,
yeah.
and don't laugh at me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can tell from his reaction to those children itself that because when I was watching the show I was like, if I get those kids I'm gonna fucking beat them black and blue.
Yeah.
But the way he handled it, you can tell that he's not a bad person.
Yeah,
like his
yeah.
parenting is not wrong, whereas the kids who are still when someone's low
Yeah.
their reaction towards you and their behavior towards you really tells
Yeah.
what sort of personality they have, like what characteristics they have. And I feel like it's a lot to do with their parents.
Yeah.
So,
And I honestly think that, like, responding to that, it's not necessarily that, like, a parent has to be bad, um like, and like, I don't think there's like a playbook or like a way to go about how to
yeah,
parent someone.
because if it's their parents,
Yeah,
like, yeah,
100%.
their
But-
kids didn't commit the crime. It was the main character who committed
Yeah, but then
the
at the
crime.
end of the day, we're also talking about how he was
Yeah.
bullied, and
But,
like
yeah.
maybe that is the reason why he did it.
Yeah.
If the bullying wasn't there, he wouldn't have committed the crime, right? So it's like chicken and egg.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, what I think is, like, there are a lot of instances where, like, the parents might be the nicest people and like kindest people, and they would have been brought up well as well. Like, there's nothing beyond any of that. But in this generation, there's so much
External.
Yeah, there's external problems caving in, but also there are parents that are very avoidant to like deal with anything.
Okay, I have a question to you guys. Do you think a person is born a criminal or they're made into being a criminal?
I think they're made into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, that's a very iffy question because
I don't think you can be born a
Okay,
criminal. But
no, but it's not about being born a criminal, but there are people sometimes they're born with a lot of mental issues, which, say, someone who had extreme bipolar disorder and someone who
No,
doesn't.
But, like, sorry to like interrupt, but I'm just saying that even in an instance where, say, you have bipolar 1 or 2, or you have schizophrenia or anything, and you're a child that's growing up with it, it would have been when you're like right out of the womb. I feel like it would have been at its like the most minor stages, how it's dealt with, and how like the triggers in your life cause it to be much worse than it is. So I feel like at the end of the day, when you're out of the womb, like, I feel like maybe you're not a criminal, maybe you just have some
but
sort of
also
an issue.
having a mental
Yeah, so like
mental
I
illness is not you being a criminal, right? Like
yeah,
you're-
it's not. No,
yeah.
I'm saying how someone with certain mental disorders, like how they react in certain situations, would lead them into being criminals.
Correct. So their environment matters.
Yeah, but also say someone like a sane, okay, I'm putting sane in quotations, with the same environment and the same problem, they might have reacted in a different way too.
Yeah.
So it's a very 50-50 thing.
Yeah, so no, just like want to understand, do you think you can be born a criminal? I'm not talking about the environment after you being born. Like
Yeah,
the
like,
day
just
one of
out
you
the
being
womb,
born, are
like,
you a
can
criminal?
you be a criminal?
As in, are you asking me if a newborn baby can commit a crime?
No,
but
no.
No,
Like-
I'm saying
like
can you
if
be like
genetically
if
they
if
are-
I was to give a birth, would that child be a criminal just by virtue of being born is my question.
no,
No.
probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
You? So it is the environment that makes you what you are, right?
Yeah, in different capacities,
Yeah,
and
obviously.
until up to 18 years of age, your environment, the most constant figures in your environment is your family.
Yeah.
In most cases, I'm not saying in every case. Obviously, there are different situations for people growing up, but in most cases, it's your family that shapes you into who you are,
Yeah.
right? Because you interact with them the most.
Yeah.
So then that's where the whole parental aspect comes into play, in my opinion. Again, like, I'm not saying this is true for everybody. And different people deal with different hardships in different ways, right?
No, I agree. And I feel like with mental health, especially, even if you're born with it, literally genetically, it's run down from the family and it's come to you, it'll always have a trigger for it to become an outburst, become a reaction, become anything.
Shan, what do you think? Like, I want to understand from you because you've grown up being the popular kid in school, right? You've grown up having classmates of yours being bullied in front of you. We've discussed this before where you even tried to help and reach out, but they were like, hey, dude, that's my into this group. Let me get bullied. So I want to understand your thoughts as well. Like, what do you think? Like, what makes someone a criminal?
Firstly, when I wanted to talk about adolescence, I didn't want to talk about the crime aspect of it. I wanted to talk about the kids getting tech aspect of it, but we have
Yeah.
gone on a
But
different
actually,
fucking tangent.
I wanted to respond to that, but then we kind of went away. I had
Yeah.
a
No,
very
please
thought
respond. I
about
mean, you
it.
guys have not put your thoughts out on technology.
Yeah. No, like, in response to the question you asked before, solely related to the technology and the impact on the child. I feel like as a 21-year-old, I am influenced every day by something, whether it's news, whether it's some quote I see online, whether it's a movie dialogue, anything. I am constantly becoming another person through what I'm seeing. And I feel like when I see my younger sisters, cousins, people that are growing up, maybe in the 7th, 8th grade, they are literally becoming the person that social media wants them to become to some extent. The algorithm is constructing who you are to some extent. And I just feel like, for instance, like if we are taking an Andrew Tate like experience as a child seeing that, I feel like showing women or showing I'm not gonna get into the men thing now because I feel like we're just talking with regard to adolescence, but like showing women in such a deceptive, like disgusting narrative will obviously like put a seed in the brain of children where how they react, how they treat, how they everything. And but like with the balance of that in mind, like with the technology in mind, I also feel like the child will naturally start to act that out or show that out in small ways. Nobody's going to notice it because they're going to be like, okay, like he made a joke or like he made a comment. But at the end of the day, those are things that are influencing them. And I think it influences them to the largest extent. Because every day, if I'm being influenced by the smallest things, I feel like a man sitting there preaching about how this is how life is, it's naturally bound to.
Okay, but what is the solution then? Like, what do you think the solution is to?
See, if you ask me for like a holistic solution, there is not one because I feel like social media is so massive right now that it's not like possible to be like, oh yeah, this content should be there, this content shouldn't be there. Everyone's allowed to post what they want. It's out there. I feel like there's also instances when these things are aggravated from home because either parents are avoidant, as in they don't want to deal with the issue in front of them, they don't want to even like involve in the child's life or anything. They just prefer if they grow up on their own, but that's not fair. Like
No, and also like now in this economy, everybody's working.
yeah,
Like there's no one really at home to
home
parent the child.
exactly. And I just feel like at the end of the day, you are raising a human. Like you need to hyper focus everything you can into them because every day whoever they're becoming is your responsibility till they reach a certain age. So I definitely think that, but also at the same time, I feel like parents like there's been a lot of instances where I've thought about this. If like say a dad at home is the more like the patriarchal one or the powerful one in the family, makes the decisions, all of that, that is intrinsically going to affect the child as well. And everything they see on social media is literally translating into reality in front of them in many different highlights. So I feel like that impacts to a like in a way where if the say that like the dad is like, oh yeah, like the mom says something and he disregards it, or he's like, oh, like enough is enough, whatever, and like they're shouting and yelling and whatnot. Like it doesn't have to be some abusive household. At the end of the day, it can be a neglective one as well. And I feel like that directly correlates with what a growing child sees on their phone every day. So if all of that comes together, and it doesn't even have to be some grave thing, it can be the smallest things, it can influence and change a child's being brought up.
Fair enough.
What about you? What do you think about technology and kids having access
I mean, I
to
feel
it?
like they should be. I mean, I don't think you can stop your kids from having tech because,
Yeah.
like, that would probably ostracize them from like their friends and whoever they hang out at the school. But like, and that's the society we live in now. I just feel like there should be like parental guidance on like access to their passwords,
Yeah.
which might not be the most popular thing. But like, just to keep an eye on them because when you're really young, you think you know everything, but you don't. So just to have access to that and know what's going on in your child's life, I think that's very important because at the end of the day, it is the parents' responsibility. But I don't think it is just access. It's also, like you said, the environment you grow in. So, like, you need to, if you're being bullied in school, to have an environment at home where you can come and say, oh, these kids are bullying me. Or like, I'm
Yeah.
unhappy to go
Yeah.
to school because,
I have these
like for example,
problems.
that in the show, the cop who arrests the kid, his son gets bullied in school all the time. So that's the reason he doesn't want to go to school. But
Yeah.
we don't know that in the beginning. So I feel like like it has to be small change, but it has to be from all sides, from teachers, from parents,
Yeah, everything has to change.
from
exactly.
kids.
Even
Yeah.
if it's the smallest steps, like if everyone kind of collaborates on that, like you'll definitely see change.
Like even in the school, like you mentioned, right? the teachers itself are like just they're there just because they're getting paid to be there.
Exactly.
They
There's
don't
not a
need
job
to be-
beyond that,
yeah.
which is crazy because you're literally nurturing a human being.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
So-
we can all talk about our personal school experiences also, and you'll realize like how different life would have been had we had more enduring and more empathetic teachers,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Like, you've spoken about this multiple times before.
I can understand the school of thought where there are people who say, "Oh yeah, he was being bullied. That is why he took that action," because that comes from a place of anger. But obviously, you don't kill someone because they're bullying you.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't.
But then you need to be human enough to understand that he's wrong in what he did, but like what he was going through is something which nobody should be going through.
Correct.
Yeah.
By being bullied in school
No, exactly.
constantly
Yeah.
and being called an
That's-
incel and
Absolutely.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Which is why in his particular case, the punishment wouldn't be the same as a hardened criminal.
Obviously.
Right? Because you have all of these facts. Like, also, if it's a jury system, the jury can be easily swayed by the fact that, okay, this guy has acted because he was bullied or he was. We've had this case in India once before. Not similar, as in not a child committing murder, but a husband who found out. Oh, it's that movie Rustam. I'm not sure if you guys have seen
I
it.
haven't seen it.
So this was like the last jury case in India where this husband basically murders both the wife and the boyfriend, right?
No, only the boyfriend.
Only the boyfriend, okay. So basically he's a Navy guy. He comes back and finds out that his wife is having an affair with his friend. And out of rage, he commits murder and kills the friend, right? But he is let go of. Because
That's
it was an act of
absurd.
him. His act was committed because he was so enraged and out of his
That
mind.
makes literally no sense.
Right? So that can't be your defense.
Yeah. No, at the end of the day, that can't solely be the defense. Like, I feel like there's so much you have to see holistically before you make a decision like that. And there could be like 1,000 things impacting it. Ultimately, you can't be like, oh yeah, today I was feeling anxious, so I decided to kill someone. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
So it's a very like holistic perspective as well.
Yeah.
But that's what we expect out of the law at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
No, that's why even like juvenile detention, for instance, is supposed to be the most. The environment is supposed to be so like calming and so different from your actual home environment because people believe that the reason you've committed a crime at such a young age is because of your environment at home, right?
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
they're supposed to offer you is drastically different from what you apparently have at home.
Yeah. No,
So you can modify your thoughts, change the way you've sort of been grown up, have therapy, counseling, all of those sessions. But again, unfortunately, in India, our systems
it's
aren't.
just not.
We've only taken so much time to even recognize the fact that mental illness can be a thing. And there's still so much stigma attached to it. Like, you go up to your boss tomorrow and say, hey, I'm not feeling mentally well. Can I take a day off? You're not going to get that day off.
Definitely, yeah.
You're going to be considered weak.
Yeah.
You're going to be considered not strong enough to be in that position.
Yeah.
So,
And so many people take advantage of that as well. Like, I know, like, countless number, like, so many people that have used mental health to get out of something.
but that you
like-
can't do. You can't avoid. Like, people are going to. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With ultimate freedom comes misusing that freedom.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like, obviously, a physical illness has been used as well. People will be like, oh, I have a fever, I'm
Yeah,
throwing up,
yeah.
food poisoning, whatever.
Yeah.
And that is bound to happen with mental health.
Correct.
But obviously, because it's something that is still coming up
Yeah.
and like being acknowledged when
Yeah.
people take advantage of that, I feel like the value drops while it's trying to come
Absolutely.
up.
This is the same, honestly, it's the same argument we have when it comes to people saying, oh, but women misuse the law
Yeah.
that is specifically made for them. I'm sorry, but you're discounting every actual, person's valid, like experience.
Yeah. 100%.
By just talking about those one or two cases where it's been misused. Like, you can't discount the fact that it's a very real problem.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question. If we're not, like, if it's okay if we stray away from
Of course.
this, but so women on their menstrual cycle, do you believe that they deserve time off?
Period leave.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I want to know both of yours.
Yeah, I
As a
think-
man who
I think you should not be having an opinion on this.
why should I not? I can have an opinion on
No,
whatever
because you
I want.
don't
It's a-
actually know, like.
Yeah, but it's a free world. You can have an opinion.
Okay, so
in
what's your opinion?
No, you can. I mean, I'm just saying that I'm allowed to have an opinion. You can't just start the discussion and say you can't have an opinion. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, like, how can you have an opinion
You
when you
preach
don't
a free
understand
world
the
and then
field?
you're like, you can't have free. So just because I didn't had it physically
Yeah, okay, so
impacted,
what's your
also,
opinion?
like,
What's your
you-
opinion?
I'm just gonna get hate for this, but you think I give a fuck? I think you should get leave. Like
That's
I f-
great.
Yeah, you're just saying that's great now because I agree with what you're saying. But that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I've been surrounded by women all my life. I know what like just because I don't physically feel the process in my
Yeah, no,
body.
but unfortunately, all men aren't like you.
Yeah, but like but they can also have their opinion, right? Just because they're
But that's the thing. The majority of men in power make decisions about women without actually having been through the whole experience of being a woman. That's the whole
Fair
issue
enough,
with even
fair
abortion laws in the US, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm not saying you particularly shouldn't have an opinion. But yeah,
only I should the only man.
he's a man written by a woman.
Yeah. No, but I think you should. I mean, yeah, you should get period leave. It's because it's like whatever I've seen in women, like I feel like they go through a really
That's
like
why we
if
get
I
hit.
knew like I am going to get like if I was constructed in such a way that I knew that every month I'm going to have like
For
5, 6
majority
days,
of your life.
5, 6 days of my life taken away by like period pain and the stress before that and the stress after that and the stress during it. I don't think I'd be able to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but makes sense. Like, fair. Your point is.
No, I mean,
I'm
I
glad
also agree fully.
that you said that.
Because every woman experiences it differently. Like, I'm fortunate enough to not have the worst of it, but I know people around me who faint, who, like it's so bad for them. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bad for them that, dude, please take all the time off.
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
also, in that
exactly.
excruciating pain, you cannot be productive.
Yeah, you can't. Because when I had very severe periods, and like I would get extreme cramps, and sometimes the pain was so bad that like my body would start heating up and I'd have fever. So to this day, I've never like told someone I'm not coming into uni or work or anything because of my period. I've been like, I have a fever, so I can't come in. So I've always thought about it because I'm like, why can't I just be like, I have my period, so I'm not coming in? But it's just not taken in the best sense.
Yeah.
So
No, you're considered a weak woman, right?
weak
Like,
women. Yeah, exactly.
what about you, Leah? What do you think?
Yeah, so I've not experienced anything severe enough or even anything painful, so I can't speak for the general aspect of, oh, we
Yeah.
deserve time off. But then I do have a best, I mean, what is my answer worse than yours?
No, but that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
That's not what you said.
No, I said I personally don't have such bad pain, but I know
I'm
of people.
just thinking, Leah's like, how do I talk about Ted Bundy? this is
I'm in my Ted Bundy fixation again. But yeah, my friend, she had severe cramps and like she can't even get up from bed. She would skip school in high school and everything. And when I was in school, I used to be like, it's never that serious. But then when I started living with her, I realized, oh, like she physically cannot function
Yeah.
when she's on it. So yeah.
okay. Well, I have a question for you guys.
Mm.
You know,
The smile is just.
Yeah.
it is taken in a negative connotation when somebody says, like, obviously, okay, no. Before I say that,
That time of the
when
month.
not that time of the month. When women go through periods,
Yeah.
they are more emotional than they would generally be. They feel more emotions. They feel like
Yeah,
it's more elevated, right? And then if two people are talking about that woman and if she had an emotional outburst or whatever, the answer is, oh, she's on a period. Why is that taken negatively? Isn't that the truth?
No, that's not the truth. Okay, hormones
I'm
are.
just asking you a
No,
question.
no. I'm just telling you
I don't
because
want you
I've
to
had
attack
this
me.
discussion
I
with
don't
you.
want you to attack me.
I'm not attacking
She's
you.
going to attack
I can
you.
give you
Yeah.
a specific.
Are you on your
instance.
period, man?
No, no,
You're
no.
acting like it.
Dude, I can tell you, okay, there has been an instance where I've had a fight. I've walked out of a cafe and it was with a boy and a girl. So there was 3 of us. The girl has texted me, babe, you're on your period, which is why you're reacting this way.
But
And I
isn't
was
that
like,
the truth?
Yeah,
Isn't
but
that-
let
No,
me
that
tell
is
you
not the
something.
truth.
Every time I have ever like caused a scene or like I'm like, whoa, like I have problems.
yeah, I want you to stop right there.
Let her finish talking.
For your own
Shavani,
sake.
let her finish talking. Yeah. Go on.
No, cut it off.
Yeah, go for it.
Please
Finish.
complete
You're
your
supposed to finish what you started saying.
No, bro. The last time I came on this, I got immense hate from the
Okay,
men. Now
but
I'm gonna
like-
get hate from the women.
Okay, go continue. Every time you're saying.
Yeah,
that-
but then 2 days later, I
you
started
no
bleeding.
say the word line. You haven't said the line.
Line what?
Every time you were on your period is when.
No, I said every time I cause a scene or like I react in a certain way where I find myself crying But a few days later, like, I started bleeding. So I'm not saying you shouldn't, like, there's no way I'm gonna say
I was like, please.
no, but like it's not a like. See, you can't be like you're on your periods. I can be like a few days later when I've calmed down. I was on my periods, but you don't have the right to tell me that.
No, my only point is, yes,
Wha-
your
wha-
hormones are like doing things at that time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean what I'm saying is not sensible.
Okay.
I may be more emotive.
Yeah. That's all. That's all I said.
No,
I'm
but
not-
people
being
disregard
more-
what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't-
Because they're like,
that's-
oh, you're being way too emotional
Exactly.
about this.
Yeah, but
because in
like
a normal
in a
normal situation they wouldn't be so passionate about what they're saying. But during your periods,
So
you're
is
more
passion
passionate.
wrong?
No,
No,
it's
it's
not
not.
about
It's-
passion, but it's also like if
That's
I
a
was
weird.
faced with a problem and during my periods I would have reacted in a way that blew it out of proportions. But if I was okay, I'm not saying that when I'm not on my periods I'm rational. I'm not rational otherwise too. But I'm a
So
bit,
guys,
You're more rational.
Leah's problem is like you can't call her insane during her period because she's insane
Yeah,
otherwise.
otherwise
Yeah, like that's the problem.
so but like I would have been a bit more rational if I wasn't on my
I
periods.
agree
Yeah.
with the fact that our hormones.
Shawnee's not liking this
Every
conversation
time
at all.
Shamali talks, I feel like I'm in an eye.
She's so passive.
No,
aggressive.
dude, I'm not passive aggressive. I'm just saying
I'm just saying, why is it taken negatively?
because you have no idea what's going on. Like it's like I don't know. Let me give a man equivalent comparison. I don't think there is anything.
I don't think there is anything.
Yeah, I feel
But
like it's
I
also
I'm
men
saying
who
that I
created the
understand.
stigma.
I understand that there's emotion. I understand it's elevated. I'm just saying, why is it taken
No, but
negatively
for-
when two people
Because
say
you're
she was on a
because you're
period?
disregarding what I'm saying by saying
saying
you're
that
on
you're
your
being
period, which is
emotional.
why you're so
But
emotional.
it doesn't mean sense goes when
Yeah,
you're
but on a
your
normal
period, right?
situation, you wouldn't be that passionate like that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, the point is what we're saying, right?
you need to look at the crux
Yeah,
of
but
the
but there are some situations when she wouldn't have reacted. She, as in a woman, wouldn't have reacted a certain way if she was not on a period.
That's what I'm saying. You're putting that up to chance. Maybe the conversation was so intense that she would have reacted the same way whether she
Who is the
was
she?
on her period.
Why are we so passionately?
Who do we
Why are you so passionately defending the she?
Because this she could be her,
Oh, my-
anyone in the audience out there.
No, but seriously, like, who's the she we hate? Because
No, I don't. No, we don't hate the she. I'm just saying that.
No, I'm just saying that you are assuming it's the period that's causing her to react a certain way. But if that topic was also discussed on any other day, okay, you think.
Calm
the-
down. Calm down.
No. I'm just telling you.
why are you telling her to calm down?
Okay. Don't calm down. Scream at me.
No, I'm just saying like the there are different phases to the menstrual cycle as well, right?
Yeah.
So a woman's body is constantly doing things. So what is to say that my reaction would not be out of place apparently, even if it was on another day, like post my period, right? Like there's nothing you can say for certain. I may have reacted the same way. But when you say, hey, you're on your period, calm down, you're telling
that's a
me
good point.
my thoughts are not rational. I'm saying stupid shit because I'm on my period, which is not correct.
I just wanted a reaction from you and I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad you told me this because it's a thing which you get like
Yeah, a lot of people
regularly.
say it. A lot of people, like, even when
say it
guys
and
get
it's so
really,
disrespectful.
when guys get really mad amongst guys, like one
Oh,
guy will tell
they'll-
the other guy, oh, he's on his period.
He's on
Like,
his
it's-
period,
it's-
like,
which
as
is
it's
why I'm
taken
trying to
negatively.
explain to you it's so disrespectful to do that.
That's a
Yeah,
comment that
yeah.
goes.
And
on.
you as
Damn
a man,
disrespectful, yes.
no, and you as a
Leah,
man, don't
remember that?
understand this.
Yeah, remember it's disrespectful, okay?
It is disrespectful.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
never ever used it against another woman. Only men. Well, that's not any better.
Oh my god, Leah.
But yeah, you understand why it's disrespectful.
Yeah, I
right?
got it.
Would you tell your mom if she was creating?
100%.
You tell her are you on your period?
Yeah, I'm very close to my mom. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah,
will tell
and
her.
I know you'd be fucking having a.
Like, she would beat me up. I can
Yeah.
say it.
You can
There's
say it.
freedom is there.
Yeah, but that freedom is again being misused.
How is it being? No, I'm allowed to say whatever I want. She'll beat me up. It's
That's the
different.
thing, right? Like while you are doing this and you are fully aware about the other.
It's a joke. I am not being serious.
No, I'm just now telling you, like it's a lesson for us all. While you are making a joke and you know better, there are people who don't know better, which is why this whole Andrew Tate bullshit works.
Whoa.
See,
Whoa,
that's
a good rap.
See, no. So that's what I like. What is your solution to Andrew Tate? Like ban him from the internet. I feel like the internet is a free space. Anybody's allowed
Yeah,
to
that's
create.
what I was saying as
Anybody's
well.
allowed to
Anybody's
create
able to,
content.
yeah.
It's all out there in the world. You choose to see it. You want to be influenced. That's on you. It's not on Andrew Tate. It's not anyone who's creating
Yeah,
the
but Shan,
content.
that's the thing, right? Like a lot of people get influenced and commit a lot of like untoward.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people
Harm.
that are like female Andrew Tates who don't like they.
I don't know what a female Andrew Tate is.
Female
I
Andrew
know.
Tates are like female versions of Andrew Tates who support the female side of things.
Which is like, what are we saying in these
Yeah,
female
like what is the
Andrew Tate
bad
talks?
influence here?
Because
No,
I
like-
haven't come
There's
across a
no way you
Am
can
I
get
a
out of
female
this.
Andrew Tate?
Yeah, I really want to know
You wanna
this.
see? You wanna see?
answer.
Get out of it? Yeah.
Wait, am I a
will use
female
it- I
Andrew
will-
Tate in that
no,
case?
No, you're not.
No, but I'm
Okay,
actually
so I want to
curious.
know
like,
what.
No, they are actual creators online.
Okay, but
give
what
me
are
like
they
an
saying?
instance.
Like we know what Andrew Tate is saying. What are these female taters saying? And why is it a female Andrew Tate? Why is it not a female Angelina?
It's Tate.
Titty.
yeah, but
No, like they have the
Like-
opposite opinion of what Andrew Tate is saying.
isn't
That's
that
just
great?
a normal opinion.
No.
That's
What is
me.
your
No, like fuck men. Like men should like know what their rights are and just stay away from us, and then we are better than men.
Wait, men should know what their rights are. That's
Like
just
men.
normal.
No.
I was like, what's
What
wrong?
I'm trying to say is,
You should just shut up.
You're describing lesbians.
No, no. So sorry,
Yeah,
I got
I want to hear more.
I got it
No,
wrong.
no, no,
Female,
no.
no. So female antitators are actually like the real the
The?
feminists on steroids. That's what female
That's
antitators are.
just
But what
being a feminist means.
see, but there are two types. When I meant
equality.
female antitators, there are two things. Female antitators, I got it wrong. Female antitators are people who agree, women who agree with antitate, and they are also big creators who say like women should belong in the kitchen.
Yeah, I've actually
That's what
seen,
female
I've
Andrew
seen
Tate
that.
Got it.
But men say there are female versions of Andrew Tate, which is like
Like man haters.
man haters. You
Got
know,
it.
who
Like-
like I don't know if they're
Like
feminists or
as
not.
opposed to sitting here and like explaining, for example, or like fighting for feminism, like being like this is a certain way, like this is how it should be, like we are all equal. Instead of that, it's like oh, like men suck, men are the power.
Yeah,
all men,
yeah.
basically.
Like
Yeah,
like I
yes.
know women whose entire personality is just talking like they hate
Talking
men,
crass about men. Yeah.
but their whole personality is talking about men. Like if you hate them so much, just stop talking about them. Like do other stuff, right? I'm talking about those type of people.
Got it.
Okay, understood. Wow.
Yeah. So what about them? What about like so I got confused. There are two types.
Got it. I couldn't
So I'm
care
talking about the
less for
secondary. I'm talking about the secondary.
Yeah, I
then.
couldn't care less for them.
Less
My
for who?
opinion for female taters.
No, but he's asking the impact of that.
Yeah, the
on,
impact of
like,
that, yeah.
'cause
But it's
the-
not
It's
a
all
big
wrong.
thing, right?
Any
How is it not a big thing?
Okay, we only hear about
Because we've
Andrew
not
Tate.
clearly we've not
Yeah.
heard about it. That
have not
female
heard-
Andrew Tate movement
No,
is
no,
not
no, no, no,
quite
no.
big.
What are you talking about? No, guys.
no, but
see,
you're
there-
talking about
see, when I
Andrew
say-
Tate as a person influencing a generation, but your female taters is just a concept. There's no single person who's influenced so many people like that.
Dude, all you hear is about there are man haters are not just one or two. There are like a billion of them now.
Where are these people?
Open your fucking internet and see.
My internet is on. That's what I'm telling you. I have never heard of this.
Okay, but you know what?
No, I'm not talking. See,
I have a point of view on
one
this.
second. Before you finish, I just want to say there's a division. I don't know if you guys are getting confused or like female Andrew Tate are
people who support
Okay.
Andrew Tate.
who are women who support Andrew Tate
Correct.
who are big on social media.
Got it.
I am not talking about them.
Okay.
I am talking about
The
fucking
fuck
man
all
hate-
men men.
Yeah,
Men
fuck
hate
all
women.
men.
Okay.
Yeah, that category.
That's
How
what
can you
I'm
say
saying.
that doesn't have an impact? They're all over the internet.
We never said that.
You just said
She
that.
said that.
Yeah, she just said and you agreed with her when she said that.
I never
No, but I
did.
said-
She said that and you agreed saying because you were
No,
probably
I
confused,
said
which
there's
is why.
no one person like who is.
How does it matter as one person or 1 billion
yeah,
people?
but because you said Andrew Tate, we're talking about Andrew Tate
No.
influencing people,
No,
and
I'm
it
talking-
influenced the show.
Okay,
is
what's
there
your
any
yeah, I do
female
have an opinion
equivalent
on this.
in-
I just think that okay, segregating the Andrew Tate, the Taties, and the other one, which is the man haters,
yeah,
the
yeah.
constant man haters, right? I think both have an equally horrible impact.
Okay.
And I think the Taties, the impact they're doing is basically
Undermining all the work women have done.
yeah, and promoting to act a certain way where men are already saying that all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like for a woman to encourage that behavior just makes it more like to a maybe a 13-year-old child, they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe she's right. Like,
No, and can I also just add to this?
You get it.
No, because so now when women support Andrew Tate and say, yeah, men should be the bread earners and all of that nonsense,
yeah.
I need to be pretty and look pretty for so and so, it puts pressure on men themselves, right? Like, you can't show your emotions because, as per Andrew Tate's theory, you need to be an emotionless man who's just getting bread. Like, you wouldn't be able to create content because men should go to war,
Yeah.
right? So that's
But
putting pressure on you
and
guys.
like as like a 12, 13-year-old growing up, to see a girl promote that kind of behavior and encourage that kind of behavior is like, you're obviously only thinking that's right, because what else will you think is right? You're like, oh yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. I can just marry rich, go up, like live the good life, let him do whatever he wants to do, I just have to look pretty. Like that mindset, I feel like if it starts young, it's naturally going to mess it up. Now when it comes to the man haters, that's going to have a negative impact as well, because at the end of the day, if every girl child that's growing up seeing social media is just seeing like, I hate men, like men suck, like men are good for nothing, like that's not going to work out for anybody, because like at the end of the day, like it's like whether the shit is coming towards women or to men, like children growing up are not seeing it as that, right? They're seeing it as, oh, these are the people we want to be. So like I feel like ultimately both have a very negative impact. I don't think there's a solution to it like in a very like big way, but I do feel like what we started off with, like the smaller changes that each person does, can contribute to it.
I agree. Like, I don't think any extremist opinion works.
Okay, but
You need to pick and choose.
for example, Andrew Tate believes that women should belong in the kitchen, or like there are clear boundaries between.
Why are you smiling?
I'm just a happy guy. where like men have certain things they need to do, and women have certain things that they need to do. And obviously, most women who are feminist or who believe in like right women who understand that Andrew Tate is wrong in whatever his opinions are, but I've seen the same women who hate him for the stuff he says, like women should stay in the kitchen. There are clear boundaries. Men are the breadwinners of the family. Men should be provided for.
Oh my god. Can I
Okay.
go?
No, wait. But my question is like, I've seen women who believe in all these things, but they also believe that the man should ask them out in marriage. He should buy her a ring. He should, like if you're so progressive, why don't you do all this? Why
Can
do
I
you?
just say something?
Mm.
Okay. I feel like I'm a very rational person, and I'm saying this myself because I don't expect any of you to say this.
Mm.
When I say I'm a feminist and I'm fighting for things, I pick and choose my battles. I'm not fighting to be the one who's proposing or
No, but
to be
no.
the. I'm coming
You're
to
not
what you're
fighting
saying.
for it. You are not proposing, which is the question.
So to speak to your point of why women don't ask out men or don't propose, I think it's changing. I think times are changing.
Mm.
I also just don't think that's the biggest issue we are battling.
No, it's
So-
not.
no,
I'm just
that's-
have a very specific question.
Yeah.
Like, I know women. Like, not know. I have seen women who are like who are very big on social media. Who say men and women equal rights. What Andrew Tate spews is bullshit, which is absolutely fair. But
But
in
that's what-
stuff like this, why
Correct.
do we suddenly have a demarcation? Because
No,
like, women
that's
are
what
like,
I'm trying to
okay.
get to. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like we have a demarcation. It's just that the laundry list of things we're tackling, being the person who proposes or asks out someone is not high up there for us. Like, we'll get to it. And you can see things are changing. You see men being proposed to. It's not like you don't. You see men being asked out as well. I'm just saying that's not our main agenda out here.
Yeah.
Like, we have larger things we're tackling, bigger issues we're facing, but we will also be the ones who are asking out men, who are also proposing. I'm just saying this is not as important a deal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Menas also has an opinion on this.
No, yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but there's just a little bit of an extension to it. I think that when it comes down to it, when you're fighting for these things, and you're like, oh, I want, like, it's not like you're sitting here saying, I want the right to do this. It's just like, it's also more like, you're not acknowledging my right to do this anyway, because it exists. Like, you're supposed to do what you want. You're supposed to feel how you feel and act how you want and be able to work. And honestly, like, there's so many people that are like, oh, I've seen people that are feminists who are always like looking down on people, for example, like Andrew Tate, and like making comments like, oh, women don't have to be the like at home cooking, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's the choice that matters. Because like if a woman wants to be a homemaker, that is the choice they make. It's about that, the freedom of choice. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to the instance of asking out someone to like make the first move, to like walk up to someone and talk to them, or being proposed to, I feel like
I mean, I'm
she's
just using that as an example.
yeah, I know.
like,
I'm also just saying like a
yeah.
random list, but there's obviously more. But like she said, I feel like that is things that are changing, and I do see girls making the first move, talking to the guy, asking them out. Like the whole thing about the splitting the thing for the first date thing. That's such a big argument, right? And
Would you guys split?
I would
100%. I would even pay.
100%, yeah.
Leah?
Shan, how many times have I told you the same thing?
Yeah, but I'm having a conversation on a podcast. Stop attacking me. It's a question I'm supposed to ask.
I would fully like split, and I don't like. It's not like I am a feminist, so I'll split. Like I've never seen anything wrong with that in the first place. Like I've never seen like a need to be chivalrous by offering to pay.
Okay,
No,
what
and
about you,
can I
Leah?
also
One second,
just-
Leah.
yeah.
Would you, are you in the split
You
camp?
are putting me. I split the first 3 dates, but after that, you should be my boyfriend, and I'm not paying.
I mean, I'd be happy to have
No,
someone pay for
In
me too.
continuation to the next episode.
No, that's because I have had significant others up until now that have paid for me. It's
But
not.
why do you think they have to pay?
It's not that
would you
they
be
have
okay?
to pay. They are the ones, because usually they're much older and they feel weird making someone younger pay for them. But it's not that I don't pay. I do pay in other aspects. Like I.
Other aspects?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. We're talking about. No, we as a
Leah,
stop
like,
twisting my words. We were
can
talking.
this be the thumbnail?
we were talking
I
about
pay them in
dates.
other ways.
No, like I'll pay them in other categories.
Again,
Not dinners.
that's wrong.
Not dinner.
But can I just say what she says?
Yeah,
like,
like,
can
see-
I add meaning to what she said?
Because see, it's only when it comes to food, it's like this though. But when it's rent, 50-50. When it's electricity, 50-50. It's only food. I feel like I'm a generally like angry person when I don't have food, and that's the least you owe me. Because I'm not a person who wants presents or anything like that. It's just food. Yeah.
No, and can I also say, like, you're talking about generations of conditioning
Yeah,
which
yeah,
needs
yeah.
to go away.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if, for instance, you're dating someone older than you and you decide to pay, there can be an instance where it hits their ego as well, because this
Yeah,
is
there's
what
so much
happens as
conditioning
well.
like that,
There
yeah.
is conditioning, right? Like, why is there so much pressure on men? Again, men having the job that gets most of the money into the family. It's conditioning. There are a lot of men who won't be okay with their significant others earning more than them. It's conditioning.
But would you guys be okay if you guys get married to a guy and he's like, I don't want to work, I just want to be a stay-at-home husband?
Yeah,
would you
sure.
guys be
I'd be okay with it, yeah.
Would you treat him with respect?
Yeah.
Do you treat the woman with respect?
I'm not married.
I'm just
I'm-
giving you a comparison.
I just want an answer to the question. I
No,
don't want a question to the
Obviously,
question.
dude, it's
I
a
also
respectful. We've seen women.
No, but
do
that's
this.
also general conditioning, right? Men who don't work are considered to
But
be
see,
weaker.
like I'll tell
Yeah,
you
but
what,
that's
right?
conditioning on
Even-
whose end?
Even with that, it means like
Yeah, okay, but then giving the ring, taking the ring is also conditioning from
That's
the women.
what
That nobody wants to talk
No,
about.
but
Everybody's
that's
like,
what
yeah,
I'm
that
saying.
we will face the problem when it comes.
No,
but
but
I'm
I'm saying it's changing. It's conditioning from so long back that it's slowly changed. You can't expect it to be an overnight change.
yeah, bro. There was a
Shall
point
you
where
tell me
people
this?
couldn't
How
even-
many times when I've gone shopping or something, you have come and forced yourself to give you my bags? Why is that? You think I can't carry my
I
own
just
bags?
like holding bags genuinely.
No,
like,
no,
that's one of
why-
my
no,
passions.
no.
You are
Answer
you are
my question.
undermining my passion of holding
Answer
bags.
my
You
question.
are just so weird.
No, see, that's
That's what?
See, let me finish.
Yeah.
See, you shouldn't cut a person off. I'm just trying to make a point.
Yeah, I know you're thinking right now.
No,
but
no, I'm not thinking. The household I grew up in, I was taught a certain set of manners, which is when somebody is holding a bag, whether it's a woman, whether it's an older person, you offer to hold the bag. But if it's somebody, if you're entering an aircraft, if an older person or a woman is trying to put the bag on top and they are not able to, you offer. That is just seeped in manners. That has
You're
nothing to do
telling
with.
me-
I'm not saying you're weaker than me.
No,
That
no,
is
no.
what.
No,
That is the
no,
manners
no,
I've
no.
been taught.
No, you're telling me if Afzar was walking around with a bag, you would
I would
offer...
put 3 more bags on him.
Yeah.
Because I want to weigh that fat fuck down.
So it's not that you do this with
we have a whole
everybody
other issue.
equally. It's
No. See.
No, I'm
if,
just
see
saying
if he was
because-
holding many bags, and I thought he shouldn't be carrying 10 bags while I'm carrying nothing, I would say, hey man.
I just want Afzar to have this clip so that he can show it to you.
Yeah,
the
Not
next
Afzar.
time.
Afzar is a bad example. I want him to like die.
Yeah, but like say you had a guy who is chivalrous that holds your bag and a guy who just has no manners and just would
But that's the thing, right? I'm not even thinking about
yeah.
that.
No, but I'm saying you'd obviously gravitate towards the guy who's holding
No,
your
but
pants.
I'm
No,
thinking,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
in
how
my
many
head,
times
right?
Sharan's asked me, hey, give me the... Please don't lie here. But have I not told you, Sharan, it's okay, I can carry my own bag?
Okay, but
Have I not told
if
you
she's
that?
established the fact that she likes holding her bags, you should stop asking.
Because... no, honestly, I'll tell you
I'm
where
actually a thief.
I'll tell you where I'm coming from. It's these smaller things which...
But if someone
Make me
wants,
feel-
if someone wants to hold your bag, why can't you just like,
I want to hold my bag.
okay, what if you have 3 bags and I am asking you only
Then
for 1
I
bag?
will ask you myself, Sharan, can you
Okay.
please hold?
I should be less mannerful, basically.
It's not about having manners. It's just that
It's like when you're
You're
sitting in
not
a metro, when you're
understanding-
sitting in a metro and you see a child, you will see a lady with a kid, not holding the kid, she's a young mother. You feel like getting up and offering your seat. That's
Obviously.
manners. That's
Yeah.
nothing to do with feminism or
See,
I
like-
know.
I'll tell you what,
I
right?
know,
At
but
the
that's
end
what
of
I'm
the
telling
day,
you, like-
I think that these manners that are kind of brought into children and intrinsically brought up, like good parents have put that into children. For you, like example being you, like I feel like if they are taught those manners, it can also contrast with other things, like with the bigger things. And this is something I've seen firsthand, where I feel like if a man is standing next to me and offering to, I don't know, open the car door for me or like carry my bag while I'm walking, anything, then it also gives them leeway to be like, to not, how do I put this? To mess up in terms of bigger things. Like, because they're like, yeah, like I'm a feminist, like I helped you. Oh, I'm a nice
yeah,
guy.
no,
like
that's
I did
precisely
this.
my
See,
point.
I
But
feel like,
also,
I feel like,
wait,
no, I
I
feel
feel
like you
like-
guys, no, one second. I feel like you guys are picking the wrong battles.
Yeah, because
See, if
I
a
am
guy,
literally
no,
saying we're not picking the wrong
wait.
battle.
If a guy is ready to take your bag, he's
Yeah, let
offering.
him take
No,
it.
that's manners. If a guy is,
No, but
that's what
can
I'm
can I
saying.
finish?
I understand
Can I
your...
finish? Can I finish?
Yeah,
If a
please
guy is
finish.
ready to take your bag, that's manners. If a guy is opening the door for you, like for example, if I had opened a door, I'm not opening a door just for a woman. I'm opening for a guy also. Okay?
It is manners.
You are,
yeah.
that is just manners.
Yeah,
But like,
agree.
what you guys should be pissed off is about like brothers who say that they need to protect their sisters. You know,
That's what I'm saying.
those are the battles you need to battle, right?
Correct. I am saying the same.
This is
You
just
both
Both are
manners.
saying the
It
same
is
thing.
not
but
just
it's also,
manners.
yeah,
it's
it's
the
not-
fact that it can be misused later, which is what is happening.
How is it misused?
Because a lot of people say, oh, why should men open the door for women? Dude, it is chivalry at the end of the day. I am not saying that's wrong.
No, see, I also
But it
think,
is-
like following up to that exact point, it's like men doing that, like if it's manners and they are offering to do it. It's fine. Like you are brought up in a certain way, or you have nice values and manners, do it. If we want it, we'll say yes. If we don't want it, we won't say yes. But at the end of the day, like it shouldn't be an expectation. Like that is where the problem comes, at least for me. Like, because if I'm standing over there with 3 bags and I'm like wondering, oh my god, why is he not carrying it? Or I've gone out for a date and I'm like, why is he not paying? That's where the problem comes.
no, but
Correct.
I feel
like
like
Manners is
yesterday,
fine.
yesterday it was raining and I
biologic-
removed my jersey and I put it on the water so Shamri could walk and not get expensive shoes dirty. You know, that's the amount of chivalry I
That's not chivalry, that's stupidity.
Why did
Your
you put
jersey
your
probably costs way more than my shoes.
so
I was
long?
joking, it's a joke, it's a joke.
No, but that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, dude, I don't care. If you want me to propose, I will propose. If you want to propose, you propose. It's an emotional thing between the person
like,
dating.
it's genuinely gesture and initiative from whoever
Yeah.
the hell wants to do it.
And trust me, there are a lot of men whose ego will be hurt if they are the ones.
Yeah, but their ego shouldn't be hurt. That's dumb.
Yeah, but
so
why
that
is the
what
onus?
I'm saying.
Why is the onus on the woman to make sure the man understands that?
Yeah.
Not the onus on you. Yeah,
okay,
the
wait.
onus is
coming,
not on the women.
No, coming back to the holding things. So
Holding her.
why do you guys both?
No, I actually like your thoughts because truly speaking, would I say no to a person paying for my dinners? No, I
No,
wouldn't.
even I wouldn't.
See, yeah,
pay
no.
for
Would
me.
you pay for them?
But see,
Of course.
See, no, but
Okay, from today onwards, can you pay for all my dinners?
Why will I pay for you? What are you
yeah,
giving me in
exactly.
return?
How many times?
I will give you other stuff, like Leah said. Other stuff.
Yeah,
We're not in a relationship like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. It's the expectation that's the problem. If they want to pay,
See,
I'd
they,
be happy.
yeah,
I'd
if
be
they
like,
go
pay.
up front and like by the time
Take
I come back from
initiative,
the
great.
bathroom and it's already paid, I'm like, oh, it's paid. But if it's the
But
bill,
if you went to the bathroom for them to pay, that's where the problem.
I have a small bladder. No, but if it's all like if the bill comes, then I'll be like, I'll pay because I have the tendency to pay, especially
Yeah, I've seen you pay for everybody. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Even I'm so confused about what she's talking
No,
about.
but okay, but going back to the holding things.
Oh my god.
No, see, it's not about gestures. I feel like it's a lot of biological aspect
Yeah.
for me. Because if I am a 5-foot tiny person and there's a much larger man where I'm holding 3 bags and he doesn't offer to hold the bags, that's just a bad person. Even if it was a larger woman, I'm expecting the larger woman to hold my bags. Like I feel like it's a
Okay.
weaker, stronger.
Okay.
Next time
we're
I'm gonna offer.
transitioning into another topic.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, by me pointing out the bag thing, I'm not saying you are being toxic, masculine.
Yeah,
that you
you're
have
just-
to hold the
it's-
bag. I'm saying it's also intrinsic. The reason why these manners are manners is because it was intrinsic on the men doing these things, opening the door for women,
Yeah, but personally,
holding
I'm
the
not
bags.
thinking that.
I know you are not. Not everything is an attack on you, my honey.
Yo, honey.
He's doing other things.
But that's what I'm saying. Like everything, why were men the breadwinners of the family? Things are now changing. I know so many women who are providing for the entire family.
Yeah.
It is conditioning.
And like
from so
what you
many
said
years.
before, right? Like about the man staying at home. Like I feel like this topic has come up a lot now, and men are like, oh, but what if I stay at home? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't mean you sit at home and play FIFA all day.
Yeah,
like,
no, obviously
you
not.
obviously have things to do.
No, but
that's
also-
not things they clock. Like they're not thinking, oh, these are all things I have to take care of at home.
No.
They're like, yeah, I'll stay home. You are the breadwinner.
No, and also, I know that if a man chooses to stay at home, he will be shamed more by men than by women.
Yeah, 100%. Women won't care.
Now
as
I would
much
never,
as
start
men.
I would
choosing
never shame
to-
a stay-at-home man.
Oh.
Because you want to be a stay-at-home man.
I want to stay at home so badly.
Also,
We all want to stay at home.
No,
If
I
we all
feel,
stay at home, that's a problem, guys.
But I like
We
to
need to
stay-
have a Leah in our life.
Yeah.
Oh my
I feel like the trends of men staying at home would be much more. No,
Problematic.
yeah, no, I'm saying it would be bigger if we started earning just as much as men. But
Meaning what?
No, see, like, I mean, it's a known fact that even if there are instances where women make more money than their husband, in some instances, there are also instances when they're working in the same position and not getting paid the same.
that's
Yeah,
what.
that's true.
So,
That's what. So
I think
if
that's what she's talking
yeah,
about.
like if we had equal pay like men, I
Then
feel
if
like
they stay at home, it
it
makes
doesn't
sense.
make yeah.
I agree. I'm on that side. I'm
Just
just saying.
wholesome conversation. Everybody's saying it.
I can't believe we are all agreeing.
How did I end up being less feminist than by the end of this?
No, I just think you were playing devil's advocate,
Yeah.
which is fine. Fair enough.
I don't think like this actually. Like I'm
Varun,
for,
cut that part out.
She retracts everything.
I'm so confused. What do you think like Rihanna?
no. See,
No,
I want.
I know I've known you for like however time, and I know you're a feminist. So I don't know like
No,
why
Leah's
you're
not a
questioning it.
feminist.
She is a feminist.
I'm not
Literally,
a-
yesterday she told me she's not a feminist.
I'm
That's
not-
the stupidest thing I've heard. Being a feminist doesn't mean you want
Yeah.
more for women. It means you
See,
want equality.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
an-
my god, I hate people
I'm
that
not
say...
saying be a misandrist.
Oh my god, I hate... Why did she point to me?
No, no, my hand can't point in different directions right now.
I hate it when people are like, oh, I'm not a feminist. I'm for equality.
the dumbest
I'm like,
thing.
that is so dumb. Like, oh my god, like, it's literally the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
How-
And, both men and women should be feminists.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
if
yeah.
you're not born a criminal, but you need to be born a feminist.
Oh,
Quote me.
That's
Good note.
that's the litmus test of being a criminal now.
Yeah, if
You
you're
a
not a feminist.
oh my god. I'm so scared, Loki, that like after this episode, like, you know how I have these weird thoughts in my head, okay? Like, there's a lot of them, but this is one of them. Like, for example, if one of us commits a crime, like small, like even if it's like hitting your car or I don't know, something like, and then someone will track back to this podcast and then be like, oh, like this is how they think, and then like I don't know,
Wait,
I think
hitting
about
a-
things
You're
like,
overthinking.
I mean, the podcast is doing well.
Yeah, wait,
This is a
hitting
good
a
thing.
car does not equate to being a criminal.
Yeah.
you know, I'm just saying it's some
Unless it's
instance.
you're hitting it on
Can
a
I just
person.
add another instance? Okay, this happened to me yesterday. Okay, I was coming back from the airport. I was driving. First of all, we have no road ethics. Okay, so if there are 2 lanes, you will drive in the middle of the lane. That's the rule apparently. So I'm honking and flashing my lights. Please move to the side because first you're driving at 10 in the middle, so I can't even take over from the left or the right. I honk, honk, honk. He finally moves. And I have a habit of looking at who's in the car. And we made intense eye contact. Then I realized this guy was with his girlfriend, wife, whoever in the car. And it hit his ego. Because right after I overtook him, he started honking like a madman. When there was enough and more place for him to do whatever the hell he wanted in the next lane. All of this is coming from a place of conditioning only that a woman can't overtake me on the road.
Yeah, and also like women,
Maybe he
the
was just
shit
testing out
on
his horn.
the shit on women drive. She's gonna kill you. Yeah, but even the shit on women drivers, just cause like I'm not saying that one is better than the other or anything, but I've also seen some really, really like horrendously shitty men drivers. So I feel like that's not gender wise. Like it's just you're either a good driver or you're not. Like so I just feel like those generic comments apply to so many things, and that's kind of the problem with everything. Everything is a problem.
But you know how, like,
Of course.
But
no, this is nothing to the general question. Like, you know how if you tell a man you can't drive, it hits their ego. Like,
Yeah.
do you think women have certain, like,
Points
characteristics?
like those, yeah. I think when you tell them you're on your period when they're making a valid point,
yeah, that's
but
definitely
they're just passionate
one.
about
That's
it, it kind of hits
definitely
them.
one. Yeah.
And
don't
you
know
as
about-
a
you
woman
don't know
must be
about-
having something as well, right?
You don't know about valid,
You-
just point.
Oh,
Valid is this
you know what
opinion.
another thing is actually
When
like
it's backed by
so
statistics, it's not an
growing
opinion,
up is actually in response to that. Growing up, I feel like when guys and girls are friends, there's always like, oh my god, like you're like one of the guys, and then the girl is like, oh, you know, like they're kind of elated by the thought of that because it's, I don't know, seemed like it's cooler
pick
to
me.
be one of the guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
pick me, literally. But also with like in regard to your question, I feel like there are instances where women. Wait, I forgot my point. It was really good though. Oh shit. Oh my god, it was good. I'm so upset.
You're considered to be one of the men.
Yeah, you're considered to be one of the men. But what was your question?
My question
No,
was,
she's like how men have egos that are hit
triggers.
because of
So
certain
for
things.
me now, a trigger is to be identified like that. To be like, oh, you're like one of the guys, or like you're like a boy, like. And I know, I don't think this is a personal trigger for me, but like there are girls that do get irritated by that point now because they're like, dude, I just want to be a girl, like, and that can come across in a more elevated
yeah, but
stage
that was
than
not
what
my
I
question.
said. Oh, sorry.
No, but like other things that
Menas and Shabani are answering what do they feel like.
No,
The
mine-
question,
mine-
nobody cares.
my answer was valid.
Yeah, mine
you-
wasn't. I retract. I'm
Like,
sorry.
I get
I asked
triggered.
my question at the beginning.
Everyone's
She
just
answered.
catching strays in this.
No, yeah, they just have things they want to say.
No, I'm
No, but
Question
I
doesn't
literally
fucking
said
matter.
I literally said what triggers me
Guys,
as a
I'm
woman
sorry.
is when
No,
people
it's
tell
my
me am I
fault.
on
No,
my
I
period.
didn't mean it in the negative aspect. I meant like how men think they're really good drivers. Do we have anything where we think we're so good at that it's a given that, like, you know,
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, but I feel like answering it based on a generic woman would like we could really go wrong here.
yeah, but
I mean, like women are considered to be better teachers because we're more empathetic.
Yeah,
Like we have that nurturing ability inherently.
I was gonna say women are meant to be
No, please continue.
better mothers.
that's exactly what came to my head when she said.
So I think, I mean, did that answer your question correctly? Like we're
Teachers,
better,
yeah.
at being
Yeah.
like, okay.
That's it wasn't that deep of a
I feel
question.
like, I don't know. Whenever I'm looking for a therapist, I feel like somewhere in me it just feels like women are
It's
better
just your sick
therapists.
fantasy.
Women are better therapists than men. I don't know why. Like I'd be way more comfortable to tell a woman all my problems.
But that's because you've always had more, I feel, woman energy
Yeah, that's
around
also
you.
there.
Same.
you,
I would
yeah.
prefer if my
So-
gynecologist was like a female.
That I understand. That. I fully agree with you.
But you know, like
But you only pay a gynecologist the first 3 times. The fourth.
I generally like would like prefer if a woman is my doctor, like the person I consult with, just because I feel more comfortable in my body and talking about things and all of that. I think that can change 100%, but right now that's a thing.
No, valid.
Yeah.
So
As
you want a
girl.
woman rather than what's like.
No, not I know what she's gonna say. I know it. I think she's gonna say something like rather than what's the best option in front of you or something.
No, but I'm saying regardless of the fact of whether that best option was a male or a female.
No,
you're
I'm
always
saying
gra-
I'm not saying that like women like only women should be doctors, or like I'm not saying that there's a certain thing that's allocated only for women or like a certain industry in the doctor thing. I'm just saying that for me as a person, I would like if I was consulting a female doctor because
Like
I'd be more
all things
comfortable.
equal.
All things
If she had an
equal.
option between choosing a man,
Man
and a woman,
doctor,
she'd
yeah.
prefer
I would
a woman
choose a
doctor
woman
because it's
doctor.
easier for her to
But
open
I
up
think
to.
whatever the better doctor is, everyone should choose. But I'm just saying.
I prefer a female dietitian.
Now we're getting into specifics.
It's so specific.
Why?
I mean, doesn't female losing weight seem more like of an achievement than men losing weight?
Why? Because it's easier for men.
I mean,
Is that what you're saying?
in one sense,
But,
because
I mean,
men
your
don't know
dietitian-
women's, like they don't bother to research enough on women's health issues when they are instructing things. So I guess that could like play a part in what you said. With the nutritionist, I feel like they need to know about all the hormones and blah 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 and all of that stuff. So that could play a part, but I don't know about the rest.
I wasn't thinking that deep. It's just-
We've realized through this episode. Yeah.
I am the wrong person for this.
No, but I feel like you're a good person, especially when it came to the adolescence
Good person.
period. But also when it came to
She said, "I think you're a good person when it came to
Yeah, do you think
adolescence."
Shabri is a good person?
Compared to someone that murdered someone.
no, but I'm saying because you're like much younger in age, so your opinions are like actually more relevant in that scenario when it comes to like stuff
Yeah.
like adolescence.
Yeah, I
and all of that.
realized, like,
And you have a younger brother,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
So, looking back on my previous podcast, there's a lot of points that people in the comments made. And I was like, it makes sense. Like, I don't necessarily agree with the things that I thought in the previous podcast because I am growing. That's
Yeah,
what
but
it
that's the
means to be a person.
yeah,
Doesn't mean
yeah.
like I'm two-faced or, you know, like I'm
Yeah.
hypocritical about what I think. It's just that opinions can change.
of course.
100%.
Yeah.
The
Every
best
other
opinions
day
are the ones
and
that change, right? Because you've been
But
evolving.
growing.
Shabri thinks she is some.
I'm
She's what Nike had. She's like.
I'm trying to be. Okay, fine, whatever.
No, it's a good thing.
it's cute. It's cute.
If people stay on for this long, it's cute.
Yeah, as someone that has a younger brother and you as well.
She has an
and you
elder
as-
brother.
I also have a younger brother.
Yeah, she
You have
does.
a younger
Popo.
brother? Can I meet him?
No,
But
no,
anyway-
madam.
No, can I meet
Yeah,
him?
yeah, of course you can.
No.
She said no, bro.
Have I met him? I said no, but she said, can I meet him?
I got so scared.
First of all, she said she's a good person compared to adolescents.
Yeah, you compared me to a
No,
murder
I'm
show.
saying you're a good person. And when it comes to adolescence,
Oh,
your
okay.
opinion is
Okay,
relevant.
okay.
And everything else, it was not relevant. Is what you're saying.
I'm saying it's more relevant for adolescents because she can relate to that age more.
What were you
Yeah, I
saying?
was saying that all of you have brothers. So I'm just saying, like, watching a show like Adolescence, like, does that impact how you feel in having a brother younger than you?
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what affected me the most was the older sister. Like, in the show. Like, she became just so quiet and reserved after, I don't know, we didn't see her necessarily, her personality before the murder or anything, but just the way she handles everything, and despite, like, you know, receiving a lot of hate from school and stuff, she didn't crack. And so that's what I like to get also, like, if it's an environmental thing, like, the sister would have gravitated to be much to the criminal side too. If
I know, but haven't you seen that podcast?
But according to Sharon, she wasn't on her period, so she wasn't emotional then.
Oh, get
But
over
you
it.
know, like there's this podcast where this guy is saying that regardless of a son and daughter being in the same home, they don't necessarily have to be in the same environment. Like living in the exact same home, same
Yeah,
room,
that's
same
cool.
everything, they don't have to be in the same environment growing up. So all the reactions they have to every situation can be different.
And that's so
true.
valid because
Yeah, because if
boys
you,
are treated differently.
Yeah.
so if
And
you
girls.
met my brother, and me and him are drastically different. Like we have nothing alike. He's the most social person, while I'm the complete opposite. And also, my mom gives me more freedom than she would to my brother because she feels like, he's a bit more on the slower side. So he needs more care and nurturing. What was the point of the question?
You just want to talk about your brother.
No, but like, how do you feel watching a show like Adolescence when you yourself have a younger brother?
That was my
Oh.
question.
Yeah, my mom freaked out too. Like we had a long chat about this because she was like there was a scene where the father was like, we think they're safe when they're in their rooms all the time, but we don't know what they're doing. They could be watching porn or whatever. My mom was like, yeah, like we're locked up in our room. She has no clue what we're doing, and it doesn't necessarily equate to us being safe.
Yeah.
Like we could be going through much worse of a time being in our room on the phone than being in the playground downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Did
You
you
used
guys
to watch.
also, were you allowed to lock your rooms growing up?
No.
I wasn't
No.
allowed to.
I used to lock it when I go to sleep, but other
So,
than
yeah,
that, it was
like,
open.
So
the
leave
freedom-
the door open and watch porn. Simple.
That's
Dude,
weird
what's
also.
wrong?
Well, why are you assuming we're watching porn in our room?
I said I left the door open. I didn't say
But you clearly implied it.
No, so till I was 17, I wasn't allowed to lock my door.
I still don't lock my door. Like I feel like there's nothing I can hide from my
Yeah.
mom. Yeah. Like I feel like it's disrespectful.
No, for me, it's more like just privacy now. I like value it a lot more.
If I want to change, I'll change in the bathroom. Like, but
No, I don't think it's about like.
No, I'm not just saying for like
changing or
5-10
anything.
minutes.
I
I'm
just
saying
feel
the
like-
ability to have like
Yeah.
oh.
that.
I go to the living room and change. Like,
Oh my God, Sharon, can
Yeah,
you keep
same.
quiet?
So like there's a theory on like living room childhoods. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually seen that. The whole thing about like how a child being raised in the is that what?
yeah. So no, it's
Because
you
that
tell us
is
the theory.
what-
I'm so intrigued.
so no, it's like it plays a lot of role into how our parents raised us and how like comfortable we were at homes by our tendencies to gravitate towards the
The
living
living room or the
because a
room.
lot of people they enter the house and they go
Go
to the
straight
room.
into
Yeah.
the room, and
I
there are
never
people
go
who-
to my room. Like I have grown up in the living room my whole life. Like my mom was such a very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
So when I was in school, it was like open house, and so like the parents came for our like open house and like for our grades and everything, and then the teachers all gave them like a piece of paper where they had to write what they wanted their kids to be when they grow up, and then they stuck it in the back of the class. It's like a huge tree with apples, and like I go and everyone's parents are like doctors, engineers, blah blah blah. And my mom just wrote happy.
That's so
Oh,
sweet.
that is
Oh, that
so
is so
cute.
cute.
Yeah.
That's
so
actually so cute.
that's the
I feel like that wouldn't even like I feel like if I said that to my dad, he'd just be like, huh? But why?
Why do you want to throw shade at your dad, bro?
No,
Let the dude
You
live.
would never come here and said anything else.
No, I love my dad, guys. No, I love my dad. I love my dad. I do. My dad has given me more opportunities than anyone. I love
then
him.
your mom.
No, my God, can you guys
Your
stop?
mom gave you life, man.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
Okay, guys, we are wrapping up this episode.
But that is so sweet. That is so
Yeah, that's
sweet.
insane.
No, that
That's
is actually
beautiful.
such a cute thing.
Yeah.
But oh my God, what's wrong?
quite
with that?
emotional.
It was
Can we cut that
something I wanted to keep to myself, but now it's out in the
Can we
world.
cut that out?
She's gone on and said, "Oh, my mom said she wants me to be happy," and Mehnaz is like, "My dad's just gonna be like, huh?"
No, guys, he wants me to be happy
Guys,
too.
thank you
No,
for-
stop it. He wants me to be happy too. Happiness is so important. I just think when someone asks in an instance, his thought process wouldn't be to say happy as the first thing,
Yeah.
as many other parents. But I genuinely think
Yes,
my
you're right.
happiness is his priority.
Yes. Yes.
No, I think our parents are all we're fortunately
Yeah, thank you, Shamali.
given like great.
I thought I was
setup.
gonna have a breakdown.
Okay, guys. Guys, thank you for watching this episode. See you in the next one.